If you're selling your house in Georgia, your agent's going to be asking you to sign a listing agreement contract. We're gonna dive in today of what that really means that you're signing. So this is investing in Georgia. This is Alan. This is Georgia specific information. We go over building, fixing, buying and selling real estate here in Georgia. I'm a licensed general contractor and realtor. If you have any questions, my contact information is in the description below. So let's go in. Let's take a look at this. All right, exclusive seller brokerage engagement agreement. All right, the first paragraph is what a seller, broker, and a property is. This is you put in the address. We got the legal description. You can add the deed right there. This is from the last time it was transferred information, or you can get a little bit more fun filling out blank stuff right there. This is for if it's a townhome. We're not going to get into that. I'm just going to brief overview as fast as possible. I did another video like this and it was way too long. So listing price and listing period. So this is the listing price you're going to offer it for at the beginning. This is when the date of this contract is, and this is going to be the ending date of the agreement. This is going to be the MLS it's going to be listed in, or MLS or MLSs you're going to be listed in. So for example, in Georgia, say in the Atlanta area, FMLS is the primary one. We also do Georgia MLS here on the northern side of Atlanta. So this is the marketing commencement date. This is when you're going to start your marketing. And the seller shall have the right, upon notice to broker, to move this date back by a few days. Coming soon, you can do it coming soon. All right, so this is going to give the MLS marketing options. Under almost all situations, you're going to want to do immediate public marketing option, which is basically, it makes sure that your house is fully marketed to everybody to get as many people out there as possible. So if you want as many people to see your house, you want to do this one. These are more limited situation, shall we say. All right, this is the buyer's, this is the compensation. This is the commissions, and generally it's standard, so it's 3% on each side, but compensation to brokers is negotiable and not set by law. You can negotiate, but if your agent is going to negotiate on the commission to begin with, they might not be the strongest agent when a buyer's agent is coming up and making demands, okay? All right. So you can do 3%, 3%. I definitely don't want to get into getting into commission battles with the buyer's broker, because the buyer's agent is the one that's bringing you buyers. The buyer is the one making your offers and making demands. You want them to be all nice and happy. So, and you can also pay no compensation if you want, but you're gonna pay for that one way or another. Protected period. So I'll read this, then I'll try to explain it a little bit better. The length of the protected period during which the time the broker shall be entitled to compensation under certain circumstances, where this agreement has been unilaterally terminated by the seller or has expired, shall be blank days. So I'm going to go into this a little bit more later, but generally what this is attempting to confront is that if, say, you're trying to sell a house and a buyer came up to you and was like, hey, I want to buy your house, but I can make it cheaper and not pay the real estate commission. You'd be like, yeah, that's a good idea. So let's work together and just sell it without your agent. So this is the time period that they should be protected, because the agent, it does cost a lot of money and time to market a house. So this is meant to to protect the agent. All right, so here, this is, if you're not familiar with the different types of agency, you want to check seller agency. That's going to give you the most for representation by your agent. All these other ones you don't really need to worry about. Oh, actually, no, no, no. I always mess this one up. These are the ones not offered by the broker. So you want to like check all those off except for seller agency. I apologize. Lead-based paint. If you have a house before 1978, it's lead-based paint. You got to sign and hold another bunch of forms. All right, and this says the seller has the following circumstances that would require a third-party approval to do the following. So this would be if you have a bankruptcy. This would be for listing for sale. If you have another person that you need to confirm with listing the property for sale, it'd be bankruptcy, divorce, or other. And also, if there's anything that prevent the following from actually signing the contract, which would be bankruptcy, divorce, short sale, or the seller not on title, or some type of weird thing with title, etc. Negotiation: the seller does or does not authorize the broker to assist or to extend or to the extent that requested by the seller in negotiating the terms of and filling out of pre-printed form contracts for seller's review and approval. Is it if you request help in negotiation, etc. Give me a second. All right. Further explanations. This is, you can ask any questions of your agent or me if you want. This is just more detailed descriptions, and it kind of goes into a lot of legalese. I think that's one of the main things that made my reading of this last version so long. Let's see, what should I go to? I'm just gonna scroll through this so you can kind of see it. This is all just definitions. All just definitions. Oh. Well, I'm not sure I'm at this exact spot. But let's go through when can the seller be in default on a contract? I got some summary stuff here. Okay. So when would the seller be in default and potentially owe a commission? That's the biggest thing. This is what are your risks, right? So if the seller unilaterally cancels a contract and sells it within the protected period, or if you default under a contract to sell, resulting in a contract not closing, basically if you just don't do something you were required to do to have a contract close, which you already signed the contract and you just don't follow through with that. Or if you refuse to accept an offer that is full price in cash or cash equivalent and without contingencies and without non-standard guarantees made by the seller and closing in 30 to 45 days. So there you go. That's when you could potentially owe a commission to your agent even if the house does not sell. So what are they again? If you default under the contract for you not doing your part to keep it from selling, not accepting a very clean full price offer, or if you violate the protected period. And the seller agrees that the seller has full authority to sell the property and all information given is correct. They've disclosed all hidden defects. They understand that the transactions are time sensitive and must remain available for communication. The property must be made available for showings reasonably. And they are going to cooperate with the broker and forward all inquiries about the property to the agent. Okay. Now, what can you expect from your agent in this contract? An agent has you can expect from your agent that they have no adverse relationships or conflicts of interest. They will promote interests of the seller by seeking agreed sale terms. They will present all offers, even if you are already under contract. They will advise seller to seek expert advice when needed and account for all money and property I'll say you can say if you want them to help in negotiation or not. The agent can have maximum liability of the compensation they are paid. So, if you include a copy of pamphlets, etc., actually, I will include a. So I'm just going to scroll through these a little bit more. All right. This is all just legalese definitions, but that's a summary of what's all in this section. So yeah, if you want the full information, you can get the contract, or you can ask your agent about these. I just wanted to give you a heads up. I'll have some of these brochures. I can put them in here. I can't put the contracts in the, but I can put some of these of the ABCs of agency or the protect yourself when selling property. I'll put a copy of those in the description below if you want to take a look at those. This is where you have other exhibits and addenda. And you're going to have a lot of these sometimes and special stipulations. And this is where everybody signs. Yay. Isn't that cool? And then this is where it actually becomes. So the agent will fill this out, then you would sign it. The seller would sign it. Then you also need to sign here at the bottom to make sure it's all fully done. Yeah, so this is Alan. This is Investing in Georgia. Hopefully you learned something today. If you did, please like, share, comment, or subscribe. If you have any questions, you can ask me or ask your agent. Hopefully this was a good overview of what you can look forward to in the contract. Thanks.